You look at these photos and dream of being there. But what your brain takes for paradise is a trap. Today, I will show you places officially erased from the maps. Surviving here is physically impossible. Reality simply falls apart.
One wrong step or one single breath, and there is no turning back. Your life costs less than a phone charge. We will journey from the frozen towers of Everest to secret labs where time froze at the point of apocalypse. I studied hundreds of geophysics reports and survivors' diaries to assemble this list. This is your personal guide to survival. This isn't just another top list, it is an exploration of human limits in a world we no longer understand. Watch until the very end, because there lies a place scientists call Pandora's box. Its lid is already open. Get ready, we're diving into the black holes of our planet, where the laws of physics are officially cancelled. We begin with Iceland. Forget the cozy lagoons. Surtsey is a black speck of land, an official all-planet laboratory. In 1963, the ocean literally boiled. An eruption created new land, giving science a chance to witness life's birth. Surtsey became a sterile test tube in the Atlantic. Nature had to colonize dead stone without any human assistance. Visiting rules are stricter than an operating room. Scientists undergo full disinfection to avoid bringing in a single seed. The only hut is the research base. All waste is hermetically sealed and removed. Nothing human must remain here. But the human factor is unpredictable. Years later, botanists found a tomato bush among the moss. It was impossible. It turned out a scientist violated protocol after lunch. His negligence became fertilizer, threatening decades of experimental purity. The reaction was ruthless. The plant was immediately uprooted and destroyed. An alien monster in a fragile ecosystem, erased. The site was treated with chemicals. Surtsey teaches us, where humans are extra, even one tomato is a catastrophe. We leave this sterile zone. Ahead are places where nature doesn't just protect itself, it actively attacks anyone who enters. Imagine a peaceful stream in Texas. Jacob's Well looks like a glitch in the Matrix, a black hole in clear water. Thousands come for selfies, unaware they are standing above one of the world's most dangerous underwater labyrinths. The visible shaft is just the lobby. Below lies a throat leading into a claustrophobic hell of 4 dark caves. One wrong move and the water turns to brown milk, blinding the diver in total darkness. Panic burns oxygen 3 times faster. Divers die in agony, just feet away from children splashing on the surface. At least 9 bodies were recovered. Jacob's Well is a perfect trap, proving that nothing inside is worth your life. In England's Yorkshire, the Bolton Strid looks like a fairy tale creek you could jump across with ease. But this beauty is the deadliest optical illusion. No one who falls into this water has ever come out alive. The wide river wharf is suddenly forced into a narrow stone gap, literally turning the river on its side. Beneath the surface lies a deep abyss with a ferocious current. The banks form a mushroom shape, trapping you under. If you slip, the current works like a hydraulic press, sucking you down and pinning you under the rocks. Survival here is exactly 0%. The Bolton Strid is a reminder that nature's power is often hidden from view. To Tanzania, Lake Natron looks like the surface of Mars. Blood-red water turns every living creature into stone. The secret is monstrous chemistry. The water is oversaturated with sodium salts. Its alkalinity reaches 12, nearly concentrated ammonia. Animals here do not rot, they mummify. Birds freeze in death poses, becoming monuments covered in a hard salt crust. Only lesser flamingos learn to survive here. Their legs are protected by horny skin, but for others, this is death. Water temperatures reach 60 degrees. Contact guarantees chemical burns. It is a caustic reactor, killing life in minutes. For humans, Natron is a lethal trap. It can only be admired from afar, recognizing that nature's beauty is cruel. In the heart of the Amazon, conquistadors spoke of a land where water boils and the air burns lungs. Scientists laughed, but the boiling river is real. For 6 kilometers, this massive stream flows at near boiling temperatures. This isn't a spa resort. If you slip into this water, you don't get burned, you start cooking alive. Geophysicists have watched frogs fall in. Their eyes turn white instantly as the protein in their eyeballs cooks. The heat separates muscle from bone while the creature is still alive. It is a giant natural pressure cooker. The river is a geothermal anomaly, a wound in the planet where the Earth's blood reaches the surface. In the Mexican desert, the Cave of Crystals looks like Superman's Fortress of Solitude with 11-meter selenite beams. But looking at these white crystals is a trap. You expect cold, but you enter a searing furnace.
The temperature is 58 degrees, but the humidity is a lethal 100%. Your sweat cannot evaporate. Without special suits, your heart races as it pumps boiling blood. Your brain literally starts to cook inside your skull. Worst of all, the air is so wet that moisture condenses inside your lungs. You slowly drown in your own breath. Scientists can only stay for minutes. It is a magnificent temple of death where humans are never welcome. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is the hottest hell on Earth. Neon yellow fields and acid pools look like CGI. Here, tectonic plates converge, tearing the crust. The Earth burns underfoot, and the abyss exhales toxic, lethal gases. The air is thick with sulfur and chlorine. Being here without a respirator means voluntarily burning your lungs with acid. Acidity levels here are near zero. The liquid instantly eats through shoes and flesh to the bone, leaving no chance. This is an alien landscape not meant for carbon-based life. Danakil proves that the brightest beauty signals extreme danger. Survival is a matter of minutes. We leave this chemical nightmare to face danger created by human society itself. Lake Nyos in Cameroon looks like the picture of peace. Deep blue water and green hills hide a silent killer. In 1986, the lake literally exhaled. A massive bubble of carbon dioxide burst from the depths under extreme pressure. A silent, invisible wave of death rolled down the mountains at 100 kilometers per hour, displacing all oxygen. People didn't cough or struggle. They simply lost consciousness in a few breaths and died in their sleep. By morning, the valley was silent. Not a bird sang. Over 1,700 people and thousands of cattle were dead. The lake turned blood red from the iron stirred from the bottom. It remains a silent graveyard of a lost village. Kamchatka's Valley of Death is a natural gas chamber. Lush green meadows are littered with the bodies of bears and foxes. Cyanide and chlorine gases seep from the earth, settling in low pockets. They act like a tactical chemical weapon. A grim food chain forms. Small birds die first, attracting foxes, who then attract bears. All die in a row. The bodies do not rot for weeks. The toxic air kills the bacteria of decay, creating a forest of mummies. Walking here is like navigating a minefield of invisible poison. One wrong breath and the internal paralysis begins immediately. This beautiful meadow is a trap, proving that nature can be a more efficient chemist than any human. Mount Washington is the home of the world's worst weather. At only 1,900 meters, it is a lethal trap. 3 major wind fronts collide here, turning the peak into a giant aerodynamic wind tunnel for Arctic storms. Wind speeds have reached 370 kilometers per hour. It can throw a human like a rag doll.
The yellow sign warns you to turn back. Hypothermia sets in within minutes, even in summer, killing the unprepared. The observatory is chained to the mountain. Without those massive steel chains, the buildings would simply fly away. People are found frozen behind rocks, huddling for warmth that never comes. The mountain demands total respect or life. Fraser Island in Australia is the world's largest sand island, a UNESCO site that looks like a paradise, but rescuers call it a buffet for predators. The crystal blue water hides great white sharks and invisible jellyfish. One sting from an irukandji causes pain so intense that victims beg doctors to kill them for relief. On land, the dingoes rule. They look like cute dogs, but they are aggressive wolves that hunt humans in packs. If you enter the forest, look down. Funnel-web spiders and brown snakes wait to deliver a lethal dose of venom. Fraser Island is a beautiful nightmare, a place where everything alive is evolved to hunt and kill you. The Berkeley Pit in Montana is a toxic soup of sulfuric acid, arsenic, and cadmium in an old mine. The water is a menacing reddish-black. It is so acidic it can dissolve metal like the blood of an alien. In 2016, thousands of snow geese landed here for a rest. By morning, the surface was white with corpses. The water burned their esophagi and destroyed their kidneys instantly. The pit literally digested them alive. The water level continues to rise. It is a ticking ecological bomb that could poison the entire region's water. Berkeley Pit is a monument to human greed, a chemical scar that the planet refuses to heal. The Blue Hole in Dahab is the world's most dangerous dive site, a graveyard for over 200 divers. At 55 meters, a hypnotic blue light shines through a majestic arch, beckoning divers to swim through. But nitrogen narcosis acts like the martini effect, making divers lose their sense of reality and fear. They swim toward the light, unaware they are sinking deeper. They run out of air while mesmerized by beauty. The shore is lined with memorial plaques. Young lives were lost to the siren call of the deep. It is a place where human ambition meets the crushing weight of the ocean, and the ocean always wins. Everest's Rainbow Valley is not made of light. It is made of the bright jackets of fallen climbers. At 8,000 meters, the bodies do not rot. They remain as grim landmarks, frozen in their final moments. Green Boots was a landmark for 20 years. Climbers stepped over him on their way to the summit. Lowering a body is impossible. It weighs too much in the thin air. The corpse belongs to the mountain. In the death zone, morality disappears. No one stops to help the dying. You only have air for yourself. It is a cemetery of vanity, where bright neon colors serve as a warning. The mountain is the master. In Mexico, cartel power is often stronger than the law. They drive monsters, armored trucks built for actual street wars. Here, you are a walking ATM. A high-end smartphone guarantees an express kidnapping to empty your accounts at gunpoint. In South Africa, red lights are ignored at night. Stopping your car makes you a target for violent hijacking. Johannesburg's wealthy live in mini fortresses. Electric fences and armed response teams are the only way to sleep. The social tension is a physical weight. You're constantly being evaluated for your value by the mob. It is a place where survival depends on constant vigilance and the height of your concrete walls. In Nigeria, your skin color is a price tag. Foreign specialists live in golden cages with private armies. The Makoko slum is a Venice of rot. Houses on stilts stand in black sludge where secret cults rule. Kidnapping is a finely tuned industry. Militants plan operations with military precision to snatch high-value targets. Lagos is a hive where the law of the jungle is the only law that truly matters. Venezuela's economy has turned to dust. Banknotes litter the streets like trash because they are worth nothing. Caracas is a city of shadows. At night, the streets belong to the armed colectivos on their motorcycles. A phone is worth 6 months of food. For a smartphone, someone will take your life without a second thought. In Rio's favelas, you cross an invisible border. Police only enter in caveirões, armored trucks with skull logos. A GPS error can lead you into a maze where teenagers with gold AK-47s are the judge and jury. It is a world where paradise and hell are separated by a single street and a thin line of fear. Poveglia Island is a place of ash and screams. In the Middle Ages, plague victims were burned by the thousands. The soil is 50% human remains. Even today, the earth feels greasy and gray under your feet. In the 20th century, a sadistic doctor drilled the skulls of asylum patients until the ghosts drove him to suicide. Hashima Island was the most crowded place on Earth. Now it is a concrete battleship rotting in the sea. Residents fled in 1974, leaving schoolbooks and teacups. Time stopped the moment the coal ran out. The sea is reclaiming the concrete. Hashima is a dangerous labyrinth of salt and rust, where walls collapse at a whisper. Snake Island is home to the golden lancehead. Their venom melts human flesh so they can hunt birds mid-flight. The last lighthouse keeper's family died in one night. They ran from the snakes and were found covered in bites. Ramri Island is where the crocodiles won a war. In 1945, 900 soldiers vanished into the jaws of reptiles.
Their screams filled the swamps all night. Only 20 men emerged alive to tell the story of the slaughter. Niihau is a private kingdom. No roads, no internet, and no visitors are allowed by the Robinson family. It is a time capsule of old Hawaii, protected by an iron curtain of isolation and tradition. North Sentinel is a Stone Age fortress. The tribe has killed everyone who tried to land for 60,000 years. They don't want our food or religion. They only want to kill the demons that come from the sea. Miyakejima residents live in gas masks. The volcano breathes sulfur, turning every breath into a struggle for life. Sirens scream when the wind shifts. Children play in masks, living on a powder keg of toxic air. Bikini Atoll is a radioactive paradise. The coconuts are filled with poison, and the sea hides a ghost fleet. The sand looks white, but the isotopes of cesium-137 have broken the island's genetic code forever. The Farallon Islands hide 47,000 barrels of nuclear waste. To sink them, sailors shot them with machine guns. Great white sharks circle the leaking barrels in the red triangle, a secret the city tries to forget. Gruinard Island was killed by anthrax. The British military turned a green hill into a bioweapon dead zone. Decades of disinfection with formaldehyde made it clean, but the spores may still be sleeping in the dirt. Everest is not just a mountain, it's a dump. Tons of oxygen tanks and human waste poison the water below. The Rainbow Valley of corpses and the piles of trash show the high price of human ego. Baikal is a tectonic wound tearing the continent. It is an ocean in the making, deeper than imagination. The Golomyanka fish is a transparent ghost. It has no scales and melts into a puddle if left in the sun. The Nerpa seal is an oceanic intruder in the heart of Siberia, a biological mystery that paused its own pregnancy. The Sarma wind is a jet engine of ice. It flips ships and encases them in a shell of death in minutes.
Somewhere at the bottom lies the gold of an empire. Kolchak's train vanished into the silt, guarded by the deep. Billions of Gamara shrimp clean to water. They are the reason the lake is clear and why bodies never return. Giant ice rings appear on the surface. Methane from the depths melts the ice from below, creating invisible traps. Vozrozdinya Island is the secret Aralsk 7. Anthrax 336 was buried here in a panic, and now the sea is gone. The island is now a bridge. Infected animals can walk to the mainland, carrying a doomsday plague in their blood. Pandora's box is open. The bioterror of the past is leaking into the dust of our present world. Nature is returning. Abandoned cities grow green, proving that we are only temporary guests on this rock. Rusted lighthouses fall into the surf. Our concrete walls are no match for the patience of the tide. Beauty can burn, and paradise can be an altar. Every warning on this list is written in blood and ash. Can we stop before the whole map becomes a rainbow valley, or is the end of the world already here? Take care of yourselves. Our world is beautiful, but the abyss is always watching from just beneath the surface. The geography of the apocalypse. The end is closer than it looks. Thank you for watching.